So hi everybody and welcome back to this Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 94 and we continue with our creating rifle and we want shot. What I mean with that is we stopped here where we collected our weapon and we can't shot, and we already created here an event dispatcher which is in our blueprint, which in our created rifle. This rifle we recreated. And we stopped here at this point where we equipped the rifle, and now we called this event dispatcher, which is just similar like a function call, and then this call will call this place here, and this one will execute a code, which we are going to do now. But before that, I found here an error which I have to tell you first, and the error is not related to this dispatcher, it is related to our created projectile. Let's open up first our two created projectiles. The one is the original one and the one is mine. So I opened this one up. This is the original one and this is the one which I created. And here on the left side we see I kept this default route. I said you can keep it, and then you can have all the other things have then transform, which means they have location and rotation as well. The problem here is it looks like it is not working, and what I mean with it is not working, when I watch here the collision, and the collision set is, let's write here let's go to collision, and here it says it will block all, but just ignore pawn. That's fine. That was the collision preset, or you can set here block all if you want. I made it here to custom, and I changed the object type to projectile here, change this too. And then when I go here now to my first person character, I grab the weapon which okay, we can't shoot here as well, that's the problem. But let me show it with this spawner. We have created the spawner, right? Here is the spawner. So it will spawn here and then it will shot this one here. So let me demonstrate you with that one. So the spawner will spawn, and the problem is it flies through. It has no collision. And that's a problem. I'm not sure why they made it so or not, because the problem here is if you attach this sphere now to the default route and compile save, this will work. This collision now will work. So let's see this one. And here we watch, and you see it is bouncing back and forth. All right, so you see this is working only, and this is strange a little bit. And why is this strange? Because the collision with the default scene route is not working, but you have to watch this, Google this. It is not, actually it's not really expected, and it is not documented. At least I found it not, why this one is not working with a default route. They should point this out a little bit more, but anyway, we are using this one as a default route, and then it is working. And then this collision preset works as well. So let's continue with our code. So we done this here. We can close them. We can close this one and go to our BP collectible item, which is our rifle, which we created. And we go here in our event graph now, and we created here the first part, which is grabbing our weapon when we overlap with the sphere. And now we have to create this code. And actually, before we go create this one, let me explain how they did it. And you see it looks a little bit complicated, but actually they did just actually it is very easy. It is just one node here. We really, this one node which we need, and all other things what you see here are just adjustments to get the transform done. So let's start it. We create just this node, which means we go to our the call, dispatcher call, and say, okay, spawn projectile, spawn actor from class, it's called. Okay, spawn actor from class, and this actor is our projectile, so we have to select our projectile. In my case, it is called, what is it called? BP my projectile. I can select this one here, and then I can just click this back arrow. So I have this, and now I have find this transform, and you can see, let me compile here. Okay, they will complain because I have here this one not set up, but you can see what they did here. This whole code is just to get this one transform point, and let me explain what they did, because it's not too difficult, but for starters perhaps a little bit. So let's get step by step and start. So first of all, they get the skeletal mesh because they want just the skeletal mesh here. And what is the skeletal mesh? This is this point here. And let's do the same thing in our point. So we get here the skeletal mesh. So we have now also the skeletal mesh. Let's connect this one here. And then they did, let me show this one. They did get socket location, and they are searching for a special socket location in this skeletal mesh. And I said how you can find this skeleton. You go here on the right side details. Here's the skeletal mesh. You click on this one, and you see this weapon is special because it's a skeletal mesh. It's not like a static mesh. So you can double click on it, and it has sockets here, and you can see here the sockets, and they want a special socket. And which socket it is, you can see it is ammo or something like that. So we have here ammo. Where is it? I don't know. Let's write ammo. And we have it here. So this one is the socket which they are interested in. So this point here, ammo. All right, let's create this one also. So we say we get our skeletal mesh, which is here, this one from this weapon. And we say also get socket, or what was it? Get socket location was it? Okay. I think I don't need this one anymore. So I go here and I write here get socket and socket location, and we have here already what is this? Skeletal mesh. Yes, we have this. Okay, get socket location, and we write here ammo. Can copy it and paste it in, and then let's see what they do next. So this part is clear, I hope, and should not compile it. And let's continue. And what they did next is, you can see it, here are some calculations. So this part and this part is a calculation, but before we go there, let's see what they are going to calculate. So this point, what we did so far is just, let's split this one here for a more moment. File this one. So this one is actually already a location. We just could connect this one here, and we have already a location. And this one will work already. But the problem is it will work not very nice. But it will work. Let me show what I mean with that. I grab this, I shot, and you see it is working, right? It's not bad. It's almost similar to their final goal. But a little bit strange behavior. You can see it shots one time above, one time there, and yeah, something like a little bit strange behavior, right? And this is the point where we need this calculation that this shot is all time flying straight, and it takes into account our rotation. All right, so we understand this. We can't use that. We need here a little bit change of this location, and actually that's what they did here, right? So we go here back to theirs. Where is this? Then here event graph, and see how they solved it. They said, okay, we get the player camera manager, and then we get from the camera manager the get camera rotation, and then we know where you are looking at. This is the point where we look at. So when I have this weapon and I'm turning, you can see I'm looking now here, here, and that is just this code here. We just copy this one to make it faster. Of course, you can just get them one by one as well. So, but I'm a little bit lazy. I copy and paste it here. And then the next step is what they do. They say, okay, now the problem is we need a new vector. So they say we need a new vector. This vector, what we have here, is not the right one. And they say, okay, we set it a little bit left, right, and so on. So this projectile offset, what you can see here, is just a vector variable here on the left side in variables. Okay, let's create this as well. So we say, okay, this vector here at this point we want change. All right, we want change this vector here. And for that, we go here on the left side, we go to the variables plus sign. Let's call this projectile. Let's make here a vector that we know this is a vector, and projectile offset. All right, this is also our projectile offset, and we have here change, of course, this one to our vector, and here on the right side, but before we do there, compile and save and go down, and you will see they have changed here the default values. And let's watch this. So I click this projectile vector, what they created, and on the right side here I can see they have changed a little bit these values because they already experimented and know exactly where they want that this shot goes out. Let's just copy those values as well. So we need 100 and -10. So we think not too much there too. You can experiment with these values on your own later too, if you say this is not the right place. But right now we are just taking this. So we have now this vector like they did, and this is a little bit strange here what they do here, because this node here says rotate vector, and they are this is just a function behind the scene which is made in C++. They are combining a vector and a rotator, and the result, the return type, is again a vector. And this is a little bit math. We skip this part. We know, okay, we have only to understand what they are trying to do at this point. And let's figure this one out. So first of all, let's create also rotate vector. And how we create this? Okay, they said we take first our created vector, all right, and then we got out and said rotate vector. Here we have something, this one, and you see this will have a return type of a location return type actually, and this location is also a vector, of course. And then they connect this one. But let's try to understand what they do really here. That's a little bit difficult, but not too difficult. So what they try to do is actually, so you grab your weapon, you shot, I can't shot now because it's not connected probably. Let me see. Yeah, it's not connected. So what they try to do now is here, when I connected this one, which is not perfect, they try now this shot here, which is coming out at the point of this rifle. They just adjust this so that it is all time in front and in the middle. That's it, more or less. So it is really complicated actually, but it's doing just a little adjustment so that the viewport looks right. So that's it. So, and then what they do at the end is this code here is just a little adjustment, and this adjustment they add to the start point. The start point is this location at our skeletal mesh. So we understand this hopefully so far. We add this, so they add this one with they add this together, and they created here this new vector, and that's it actually. So you see, this is the start point, this is the adjustment. They added this start point and adjustment together with this node, and they implemented this one to our new location. Actually, they did this not this way. Let's see how they did it. So they make it a little bit different. They say, okay, we make a transform because we need one more information. They said we need also the rotation. So that's why they use this make transform here. Okay, let's watch it how they did it. We put it a little bit in front and say make transform. This make transform is a really powerful node actually, because you can create your own transform all time. But of course you have to know how to build these transforms, and we are doing this one now. So, and we are just adding here these rotations. They say we need just here this rotation. And with that said, I think we have our transform, and here I recombine this because I splitted this one. I press here again and I recombine this one to struct pin, and this is the transform. I connect this one, and you can see we created all the thing what they did so far for the first part here in the front. The second part here is just what we also learned, play sound at location, because they want this shot sound, bang, bang, that it sounds a little bit. We can make this too. We learned already this note here. Let's do this too. That's very easy. Play sound at location, and this location, and you can see the location is again this location what they have here. Let's see how they did it. They just grab it from here. Yes, it's the same. So we can see we can grab it here as well, and we make a double click on this line here, then it brings some reroute nodes, and it looks a little bit more readable. So with that said, we have finished here the first part, and the next part here is just not cosmetic. It has also a definition. Let me show you this one, which part, where we are here. This next part here is just, let's just copy this one, because this one, what you see here, is just this animation. So let me show you, this is the original one. And when I shot, you see that this weapon is moving, right? So up and down a little bit. And this animation is just this thing here, and we learned this a little bit, not with this node here. This is a montage play. We used here play animation or something like that, similar to this one. Let me see, play anim. Yeah, we used all time play animation, and they used here play montage, and we will learn this node probably too, but in this case let's just copy it, because this is just to play animation, and they will play it. Let's recreate this as well, and then we are finished. So what they do is first person character reference. They get it, they get the first person mesh, and then get anim instance, and this one is target skeletal mesh component. Okay, this node is here a little bit interesting, first person skeletal. And yeah, let's copy this one here, because it's not a big deal. I hope you understand this part so far. It's very easy. First person reference, because I need to replace this one with my reference. And then you can get the first person mesh. And then we get this get anim instance is actually interesting here. Get anim instance, because this node, you should read this here, what this is a little bit and how this works, because this one we have not discussed so far. And then we can just connect this one here and then play the montage. But this node we copy, because here are some setups. Okay, let's the setup here. Connect this one and this one here. And yes, you can see they play the montage, which is, let me show you this one too. You can see this is this animation what they play. First of all, our hands are walking here, but our hands are connected now with the rifle, and that's why we see the rifle is moving. So we are not really we are seeing a little bit our hands, but we are more seeing the rifle which is moving, because later we have the rifle in our hands and our hands will shake this rifle. And yeah, that's it actually. So that's what they did so far. And when I start now this one with mice, and you see we have recreated all the things. And there is probably one more problem, and the thing is, when we shot, you can see there is no bouncing effects. These meshes here, they are not flying away. And when I grab the other weapon and shot with this yellow, the yellow one is flying away. And the reason for that is they set up in the projectile. Let me show you this one as well. Here they set up here a little code which causes an hit event, and this one we can set up in the next video. And with that said, I will stop here, and I hope that you understand a little bit this code here. And one last word to the event dispatcher, and you see this whole code what we have here will be called by the event dispatcher. Let me go through this event dispatcher one last time, because this is interesting to understand. And yeah, so where the event dispatcher is called with our first person character. Let's open up our first person character fast. We go to the first person character. Here is the first person character. Here I press my left mouse button, and you can see these are calls like functions, but these are special calls, event dispatcher calls. When we hover over it, we can see, but similar like a function, you could call a function like this one too. Then this one is jumping to our rifle. Actually, it is jumping to both, not only one, but it's jumping later here. And interesting is, it is not starting from the start. That's very important. It is jumping directly to this place here. That's not usual, right? That's not the case in general programming, that it's not starting from front, but in this case it is jumping at this point, and then when it's here, it is connected to this event. This one is just a selector or more, something like that. You can think about this one. Actually, this one, you could connect this one directly here as well. You can see this one will work as well. This is not a problem, but this one is another way to do this one. And now you have to select which event you want to activate. Here we want on projectile, so I have here on fire. So these are the two options which you have, and then this call will just execute this event here, which is a normal call, normal custom event, and not too difficult. So, and the last thing about this event dispatcher, why they are using event dispatchers and not function. This is they are preferred this one, and in general for this project here, it makes actually not sense, only a good demonstration perhaps, but there are cases where it makes more sense. For example, if you have a call with multiple, let's say with multiple other objects. For example, we have here a rifle, and perhaps you have many rifles, different kind of rifles. This is a short rifle, then you have another rifle, another rifle, another rifle. And all these rifles need just implement then this thing here, this little call here, this event dispatcher call here, and they will be triggered as well, right? When I trigger it here, I just call it here, they jump there. And interesting is, all these rifles which is called from one place can have different implementations. For example, this rifle which we have here has this implementation here, but the next rifle perhaps it has a scope, and then you can add to the next rifle a scope implementation as well. Here, continue with something else. That's why they use this dispatcher. You can have one place to call, and all the implementations can have different coding included. All right, that's a little bit too much talk, I think, at this point. I hope you understand it. If not, it's not so dramatic, because you don't have to use an event dispatcher. It makes your life easier, but there are other ways as well. And with that said, I think I stop this video. And if you have any questions or any complaints, like all time, write it in the comment. See you in the next video, and bye for now, and good luck.